And we are back on the air with Filthy Dirty Nasty Part 2 with Danielle and Kristal. And we're just discussing some books and all the few things. So, okay, let's talk erotica. Woo.
I'm very interested to see how we're gonna do this because you and me are wrestling erotica authors, plus we do normal erotica, and Danielle does normal erotica, so we might need to pick a topic here.
Hey, this is your show. This is your forum. You pick one.
Alright, I'll let Danielle pick one.
If she's still with us. It's quiet back there.
I think we might have lost her again.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Oh, well, I'll pick a topic, and then when she gets back on, she can interrupt me and change
Hear me?
Ah, there she is.
Yay, welcome back.
I heard you guys. I don't know how it keeps happening, but it keeps muting. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I have to find something dirty and nasty to talk about.
Yeah,
And it
anything.
can't be.
Erotica.
Oof. Well, I mean, I haven't. Have you guys read 50 Shades? What do you think about 50 Shades kind of stuff? Are you guys into it, or
I've read it, yeah. I thought it was alright. It's not the best erotica book I've ever read. In fact, actually, one of the best I've ever read, excluding Ellen Carrington's in this conversation, is Excites a publishing company here in the UK, and they've released, I think it's a Girl's Journey, or Girl's Awakening, I can't remember exactly what the title is, but it was done by Chloe Castro, and I've read some pretty hot books in my time, and anyone who knows my stuff knows it's pretty damn hot, but she managed to outdo me. Saying something. It was pure erotica. It wasn't porn. It was really good, and it was done from a kind of older teenage girl's point of view, which is very hard to. And I thought it was quite cool, and there was. It was a bit like 50 Shades of Grey. It did have, the bondage in it and the innocence kind of side to it. But it was really. I read that quickly, and I'm normally a slow ass reader, but I literally couldn't put it down.
Oh, that's good. I got this book. It's called Hold on, let me look at it. It's on my Kindle. Oh, I got it. I know. It's called Guy Randy. That's his name. That's my son playing karate. His name is Guy Randy. Logan, don't do karate out here. Okay. Sorry. Guy Randy's Big Stories for Big Boys. That's what it's called. It is the funniest erotica book I have ever read in my entire life. I like erotic comedy where you laugh because it's actually so disgusting you can't help but crack up.
Those
I
kind.
don't care about the funny crap. Give me the funny stuff. Because that's what real life. Any moment I've ever had that was somewhat sexy ended up being ruined by something stupid. That's so stupid, it's funny, and you end up laughing. So I can't say that I've ever had a crazy night, because every erotic night I've ever had has been ended in something dumb. Like even my wedding, even my honeymoon, husband and I would go to this hotel, and it's a really sexy hotel room. I jump in the bed, and I was trying to act hot or something. And I lay down, and I give him this look, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Oh my God, don't move." And I go, "Oh my God, why?" And my hands are moving up and down. And I'm like, "What is it?" I go, "Oh my God, is it a spider? It's a spider, isn't it?" He goes, "No." I go, "Is it a cockroach?" Because we're in Florida. He goes, "No." I go, "What is it?" He goes, "There is a pile of shit right beside your head."
Ew.
Somebody shit on the bed, and they did not clean the room. And I didn't see it when I jumped on the bed. It was just laying there. Don't ask me how I didn't see it. I was getting it on than I was licking shit on the bed. Who has shit on a hotel bed? That does not happen. So anyway, that was my honeymoon.
Ew.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even, I mean, like I said, every night I've ever had that someone sexy has turned absolutely retarded. One night, I finally got Earl to pull my hair a little bit. Sorry, no TMI. But then my son opens up the door and says, "Mom, can I have a popsicle?" I'm not kidding you. In the middle of this, I'm like, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what? So I'm done. I give up. It's not happening for me. I can read about it from other people. Hold on a second. What, Logan? What? That's my son.
For me, I get like probably the worst ones I've had is getting a phone call. Me and my boyfriend at the time, we were dance partners. I suppose you could say we were trying to be dance partners, and we were supposed to be making out in the room, and the next thing we know, our phone goes, and my friend phoning me because he'd gone as like with some sort of psycho woman, and he'd gotten his buttock super glued to a fish tank with a dead squid in it.
Ew.
So anytime that I think, oh yay, I'm gonna have one of these wild nights myself, something always happens, whether it's a group of girls is getting on in our living room. We had that happen one night. We had a group of girls pass out in our room. That happened a lot. I got locked out of the apartment one night.
Well, girls,
Yeah.
what group of girls running into your room in the middle of the night? I mean,
It was the worst night we ever had. We've been out, we've been training, we got in about 2:30. We were supposed to have a big championship battle the next night, and some of the girls said to Derek, "I want to stay over." And I wasn't dating Derek at the time, I was dating another punker. And he said, "All right, Kristal can stay in my room, I'll in hers." Some of the, when he got into the room that was supposed to be mine, he couldn't sleep in there because the nightclub that he stayed above was too noisy. Normally in my room I would just pass out and I wouldn't hear anything. So he came back in to sleep in the room I was in, and the 12 girls that we had could stay over for the night ended up saying they couldn't sleep in the room and they were too horny and all this stuff. So they ended up in our room with us, and they all passed out. And I had literally no more than say like a folding chair worth of space on this bed for the whole night. And I was just like, you cannot write this kind of stuff. All these naked girls, and I'm like in the corner going, I just want to sleep. So all my crazy nights always get ruined by like somebody I know or a group of people I know or somebody getting themselves in trouble. I had the worst luck. I'm telling you.
Oh dear.
Oh, dear. Oh, I kind of remember, I think I was at a wrestling event in England, and a friend of mine, we were all sitting talking, this was before the wrestlers arrived, we had a few hours to kill, and me and my friend were sitting and talking, and somehow I ended up to manage to gain 3 fans in the space of 5 minutes in the hotel, and our hotel room was never safe from that point on. I had people randomly knocking on our door at like 3:30, 4:30 in the morning, trying to get us for something, or thinking of an excuse to knock on our door. It was just, I don't get peace anywhere I go. I've decided that I'm staying in Glasgow because it's safe and there's no crazy people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, crazy people in my part of the country too. So, of course,
Have you had that awkward?
I think they prefer to stalk me online. But you know what? I have a sense of humor about that nowadays. I mean, at first, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, it did freak me out. Okay, it did freak me out at first, but over the years, I'm like, wow, these people are nuts, and I just sit here and laugh at them. And so I said, the guy I've been talking to the last few days, and we were talking about crazy fans and stuff. He said, I got stories from you from the 90s that we got a bunch of weirdos. I said, I'm sure you have, but he said, it's the only way you deal with it. You just have a sense of humor about it and you laugh it off. Unless it's a dangerous situation, like you're getting a death threat or something. Well, yeah, then you go to the police, you know. But yeah, what these guys deal with and what we've dealt with, it can be scary unless you have a sense, like I said, you have a sense of humor about it.
I mean, I've had fans that have followed me around the shopping center. I've had, fans follow me into the women's bathroom and barricade the stalls that I'm in so that I'll sign autographs or I will answer questions. I've had fans try and, if I've been away, I've had fans that have tried to stand in front of the car that I've, whatever my ride's been. I've had those kind of experiences. I've had the kind of crazy, like I get sort of the most inappropriate tweets you can ever imagine. I get them on my Twitter. I would get like some of the most inappropriate messages to my Facebook. I laugh at most of them. But when I do get the death threats, because I've had at least 6 since I started my writing career, then I hand them over to my employer and I say, okay, deal with it. And I don't speak about them. I let them go. I'll take my pictures down for a few weeks so I know it's safe, and then I'll put them back up, and I just let it come by.
Well, yeah, I can't blame you there. That's like, I got a few private messages when I came back from Florida. He said, why didn't you take any pictures of yourself while you're down in Florida? I'm like, my manager advised me not to because, like I said, like, and I know, and most likely Danielle knows, there's a bunch of nuts out there, and you can't be too careful.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird people.
What about
I haven't been really bothered by anybody. That's the first time I ever got anybody. That's kind of funny. I kind of enjoyed it, I'll be honest. So if you're out there, buddy, thank you. You made my day.
Yeah. But I like to say, keep talking crap. You're making me famous.
Yeah. Now, Bill, thank you.
I think one of the weirdest fans I ever had, I think he still works at TMZ, actually, was a reporter for TMZ.
Ooh.
And he wanted to report, I suppose he wanted to do some sort of expose or something on me. And I felt so bad for him because I had to hit him like with a restraint thing, like you can't publish that about me. But that's going to be like I wouldn't say the weirdest, I would say that's been the nicest one.
What?
Yeah, that one happened recently to me.
Oh, God.
But I must admit, Joe gets some weird ones. I love hearing his.
Oh, I'm sure he has stories. If he has any stories like the guys I've talked to, I'm sure there's some good ones.
We need to do like a one on Danielle's show where we just do it like dedicated to the fans or something, and we all just try and think of our like most, I would say, best fan interactions, worst fan interactions, and craziest fan interactions, and just do a show and swap stories about it.
Yeah.
Because if we got him on, I'm guaranteed he will have probably some of those oh my God moments, that we all love to read about.
See, that's what I like about getting indie guys on the show, because you don't have to jump through hoops or go through loopholes to get anybody on your shows, unless you're quote-unquote established.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that. And the great thing about Joe is that he's a very open book. He's very laid back, and that kind of stuff doesn't really bother him too much. We were talking to the 2 erotica chicks a few weeks ago, and, we were talking about, a prank he plays on the fans where he gets on them, he plays a trick on them and then winds them up, especially if they're acting weird with him in the lift. Not saying that I didn't do that when I was a dancer, but I've never done that as an author. And just some of those things just make some of the funniest stories that you can hear. it's kind of a reason I want to set up my own podcast, but I just don't have the time to do it. So that these stories can be kind of recorded and kept together, if you know what I mean.
Well, that's why I'll cut down to one show a week, at least for the summer right now. That way I have more time to finish my writing, because I'm still working on the latest book. And if we're going to get that out by fall, I got to, have time to get cracking on it. And with these other things, and if this biography thing goes through, there's going to be more time sucked up for that. So it's like something had to give. I'm like, well, we'll cut out one show, at least for the summer.
Yeah. I mean, I think that if, the publishing side of things for me kind of slows down over, like, the winter, I'll start doing it. But at the moment, like, I think from what my agent said, I could be releasing a book every single week for, like, the future. Because me and Joe were supposed to be doing, the imprint there with Solace at the moment. We're doing books with Danielle. We're getting ready to do a comic book series, which we were working with a really talented artist on.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've been broken down. I'm doing a comic book. I'm sort of working with that too, and it's just I've never done a comic book before, so I kind of really want to do it. And I'm making my way through kind of like a list of things that Joe really wants to do as well. So once I think by the time I hit Christmas, I might finally start to, like, things might finally start to calm down, and I can kind of get back to back to some sort of slower pace, more of a normal pace, so to speak.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm going to see how things go in September. Well, right now they both days will come back in September, but depending on my schedule then, I might have to stick with one day show a little bit longer. But we'll see. Maryland Diaries is coming through pretty quick. Probably because there's not, a lot of, I haven't written any fight scenes in it. Because I'm going to focus on, the mother's thoughts more than Donovan's. Hopefully it'll come together, but so far things are going pretty smooth.
I mean, that's one benefit about working with Joe, is that I don't need to worry about writing fight scenes. I can just go to Joe, okay, well, this is the idea that I have for the fight scene, and I so know it's not how you would do it in the wrestling, but can you kind of help me figure out what I'm doing? And he'll come and he'll look at what happened before it and what happens after it, and then he just slots in the fight scene, and 9 out of 10 it works perfectly. We might have to tweak it a little bit so that, it doesn't look like it's just pasted in, but he comes up with some amazing ideas, and he can really fill out fight scenes where it's mine before we're very arty-farty.
Well, that was like when I wrote the Cruiserweight, I'm like, okay, I got to write this scene. How am I going to do it? And I had to write them like half a dozen times. Like, okay, this one sounds good. We're keeping that one. And with the next 2 books, after that, you saw the fight scenes in them. And they just flowed through just fine. But this book, I don't have to worry about that because it focuses on either backstage things with Donovan, or the mother's diary entries.
Yeah, I mean, I think Danielle's probably one of the few people that's gotten really kind of sleeved. I think me and Joe have a lot of teething points, I'll not deny that. But she's getting the opportunity to read the books before they come out, and, what we're able to kind of pull out from our imagination helps. But it's the hardest job of all, because she's come in and she's got to edit the thing and make sure it's all. And I feel for her because I know just how bad my dyslexia is. I didn't know on top of that.
Yeah.
Of a mixed match, but we're kind of getting through the teething problems now, and the books are starting to look a lot better, and get. I don't know if you agree with me or not, Daniel.
Did we lose her again? Uh-oh.
I think we might have.
I have a feeling we lost her again. Yes, we did. Let me look at me. Yep, she did. Boy, Skype is being temperamental today.
Yeah, like normally, like I still get the feedback, like, whenever you talk, I'll get, like, the repeat of when you're talking,
Yeah.
when Danielle's on. But when it's just the two of us, you're fine. So I don't know what it is. I think it's some sort of connection problem.
Yeah, Skype's being temperamental today. Oh, well. What else is new?
I'll have to give you the link for Michael Mann's t-shirts, because they're amazing, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, pop me a message about that.
Oh, I will do, because, I mean, they're freaking fantastic. And I'm not starting my DDP yoga till next week.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
trying to talk myself into it still, yeah. I'm like...
Well, like I said, I got to make a appointment with my orthopedist, see if he can, because, you know, certain things, see if it's okay with him. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'd like to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's great, because the guy Arthur, I think it was, that they did the test with.
Okay. She's on the chat. Said her phone died. Poor Danielle. This isn't her day.
No. No, because, like, the thing about it, though, I loved was that she, like, Arthur's a perfect example. Like, he had the osteoarthritis. I had the rheumatoid. And even though, like, the doctor's fighting me, but I know that I have osteo in, like, certain parts of my body, and that's stupid. And the funny thing about it, though, is that I say that to the doctor and he screws his face up, but DDP yoga's helped so many people with arthritis that
exactly.
The forums are full of it. Like, they just say, why aren't you doing DDP yoga? And I'm like, because it looks like it's gonna hurt. You know, and they're like, actually, no, you know, the first couple of days hurts like hell, and then, you know, by day 3, you start to, you know, it eases up a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, all right, okay, let's do it then, you know. So I start next week, and I was nervous because I thought, I heard so many rumors that if you ordered it, he phoned you. And I was like, if he phones me, I'm going to be useless to talk to him. Because I'm useless talking to famous people. I always am. It takes me at least, like, 3 to 4 conversations before I get comfortable with somebody. And I was really lucky because Joe made me feel very comfortable from the second we started talking. And it's just, that's the thing with me. Like, if you don't make, you know, if I go out of my way to make the other person feel comfortable, but they don't go out their way to make me feel comfortable, then I always get, you know, iffy around people.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my god, if he phones me and he's telling me about yoga, I'm not going to be listening because I'm going to be like, and I'm going to have this cheesy grin on my face. But luckily, he hasn't phoned me, so
yet.
I'm okay. Yeah, but I've seen what it did for Scott Hall, and I mean, he's more bionic than I am, so, you know, if it works for him, then
it
probably can work for any.
We'll be fine.
Yeah, if he can handle it, we'll be fine. I feel for him, like, he's going through so much pain that it's just ridiculous, so. Well, but I hear they're gonna get his hip fixed. Which
they raised the money to get his hip fixed.
Yeah, I didn't see the final thing on Kickstarter. I missed it.
Yeah,
I was hoping that
they did raise the money. I think they had a little extra. Matter of fact, they went over a little.
Well, that's good, because then that gets him ready, like, for other stuff, because I'm sure he's got other things he needs fixed and stuff.
Because, you know, a lot of those guys from the 90s, and it's so sad, I'd say the vast majority of them are broke now, or near broke, or dead. And that's why when I like to read a story about one of those guys from the 90s who's doing fairly well for himself now, you know, I kind of like happy endings, and it's nice to see one now and again.
I mean, I feel the same, like, I look at, like, when I look at how many, like, we were sort of beginning of 2000, we started the dance stuff really heavily, and I was the youngest out of a lot of them, and 90% of the dancers that I started with are now dead, you know, dead, broke, or, you know, I think one of them was homeless, but we got to that person in time, and we helped them reset their life, but most of them, it was like they started dabbling in steroids, like growth steroids and stuff, to try and build themselves up, and they started, you know, dabbling in other stuff, and I literally watched the people that were, they were amazing storytellers, that you couldn't believe what they could do on the floor till you actually seen them in person, and seeing, like, one of them actually died a few months ago, Zeus, who actually was one of my mentors.
Yeah, I remember you
wrestling.
Yeah, I remember you writing about that. It was sad.
Yeah, I mean, he was one of the best dancers that ever existed. You know, he used to say, "No, no, no, you're the best," but he wore a mask, and the thing that I always found amazing about him was he wore this mask. Everything we did was about our facial features and our body and expressing our story through our bodies and our faces. And this guy wore a mask, so he couldn't do it through his face. So his body had to be extra animated. He had to be extra vocal if he had to talk. And he was 9 out of 10 you couldn't beat him because he would just know what move to throw out that would trip you up, and you'd be like, "Fuck, I've lost this," he's beat me. And I mean, I'm one of the last, like, I think we did a call round about a month ago, and there's only 4 of us from the originals that started off in Aberdeen that are still alive, and only 3 of them that are still alive from Glasgow. And there was something like 23 of us when we started, and, that's what, 7 of us now? It's just...
Wow.
It's crazy. One girl went off, she's actually a porn star.
Oh.
Which I was so surprised about.
I bet.
Considering she's used by a name very, very similar to my pen name. Which was a bit of a shock when I misspelt my name in Google one night. She's off doing that, and one of the others, she kind of assists. I suppose she would be a consultant for the major dance films.
Mm-hmm.
So she's out in Hollywood, so...
Well, there's your happy ending.
There's like 3 of us that are doing okay. Like, I'm not making millions, but I'm doing alright. I scrape by. And that's the main thing. Like, that's why I said to the others, like, sometimes you just need to... We're at that point where a lot of them should have walked away by now. But they're staying because they know the younger generation can keep what we were doing alive. Which I think... That breaks my heart to know that, what we did is dead. But at the same time, it's the same as wrestling. You get your pop breaks, you gotta do something different or, the industry would die. So
yeah.
But that's the other thing. Joe's really let me keep my book alive, or my stuff, like my dance stuff alive through what we're doing with the books. And I mean, I think we worked out that we're doing 4, we're nearly doing 6 books next year for Danielle. She's gonna buzz me in a minute and go, "What?"
If her phone died.
Yeah, well, she'll be IMing me there, like, "You what? 6 books? No way!" But we've actually written at least half of the 6 already. So next year we're hoping to release the 2nd book of Charlie's World, the 2nd book of Marie's World. Layla's book is going to come out next year. We've got Edward's book, which will come out next year, and we've got a surprise book, which is going to be Amber's story, coming out next year. Amber's a really special character, top secret character, because we've actually never talked about Amber up to this point. She's going to be out next year, and we're going to get the first Will book out next year.
Okay, hang on for a few minutes, because the time's winding down here. We're going to hear some more good stuff on books and other things, folks. Be right back.